Falcon player, F16V4, Raspberry Pi, relay, and a couple of switches, input ports. We can control the relay using the input pins and some switches. We can run things from here. Let me show you how. Hey, I'm excited about this video, and I am excited because I want to show you something that I find very cool, and that is doing automation around our Christmas show. Hi, I'm Trevi Lights. Thank you very much for watching this video, and if you have not done so, I will highly appreciate it if you can subscribe to my channel. Now, by automation, imagine that someone is just walking in front of our house, and by pressing a button, they can skip to the next track or start or stop some other lights. Now, the Falcon V3 and V4 both have 4 input ports. And in this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how you can use those ports to trigger some actions. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. So this is the Falcon controller F16V4. And as everyone knows, it comes with 16 pixel ports, 2 smart receiver ports, 1 DMX, its expansion connection, 2 Ethernet ports, but also comes with 4 input connections. Nobody talks about these input connections, but in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use them and how you can control your show from these ports. Now, those ports do not receive or send data. The way they work is that all you have to do is create a short in between those 2 pins, and it will trigger an action. I'm going to show you how you can program your devices to trigger those actions. So if all we need is create a short, that means that we can pretty much just install a switch, just like this one. And when we press the button, it will trigger an action. Now, those actions are going to be controlling my Falcon player, which is running from this Raspberry Pi. I don't use my Falcon controller as a standalone player or as a player. All my show runs from this Raspberry Pi. So some of the actions that we're going to be performing is controlling the Falcon player. Also, I'm going to show you how you can control a relay with your Falcon player by using the input-output pins that we have in here. That way, when you press a button, you can actually switch something on or off. And that's amazing. That it works really good. I'm sure you're going to enjoy this video. And at the end of it, you're going to start wondering what can you do with this. So let me add 3 more switches, and then we'll jump into the configuration of the Falcon player so we can trigger some actions. So let's do that. So here I have my Falcon controller and my Falcon player sitting side by side. And I'm doing this because I want you to notice the IP address of both. So the first one is sitting on 10.0.0.153, and my player is sitting on 10.0.0.100. And so just pay attention to this IP address of my Falcon player because we need to keep both in sync. So the first step is to go into the input section of my Falcon controller. So here we have 4 lines, which represents the 4 ports that we have in our Falcon controller as inputs. So from the action list, we can select different things like reboot, reset, send an ARTnet trigger, and this will be events, action that will be triggered when we create a short between those 2 pins, right? So for this, I'm going to select the FEP command slot. Let's leave this as 1, and then I'm going to give the IP address of my Falcon player, which is 000100. I'm going to select the same for line number 2, but this is going to be slot number 2. Just pick a different number, and let's do 10.0.0.100. Again, it's the IP address of my Falcon player, and we can save this. Don't worry about the command slots, it will make sense in a minute. It's just like a row number, right? So now let's move into my Falcon player. For this, I'm going to expand the screen so we can see it better. And we're going to go into the status control and then into the command presets. So here we're going to click Add. Even that in this drop down we have a list of names, I'm going to select my own. It's going to be volume down. And then on the command we have a list of commands that we can pick. All lights off, FX start, stop, extend schedule, GPIO. We're going to be using this later on, and a lot of some other stuff. So for this, I'm going to pick the volume decrease, and it's not a multicast. Multicast means that we have more than one player, but we only have one. Or if you want to, send this to another player as well. And the volume, I'm going to put a set, so it means it's going to move in increments of 10. And I'm going to accept the changes, and I'm going to put this in slot number 1. So now it makes sense, right? Slot number 1 on the Falcon controller, slot number 1 on the Falcon player. So I'm going to click Save, and I'm going to add a second one, which is going to be volume up. And I'm going to pick volume increase, again by 10, and by 10, and accept changes, and this one's going to be sitting on slot number 2. I'm going to save it and do a restart on the daemon. Alright, so that's pretty much it. So let me minimize this screen, put it back as it was, and now let's try this. So if I did things right, let me go into the status page, because that's where we have our volume, which is sitting right here. If I click the volume down, which is the first one, it should come down. So keep an eye on this number 50 on this bar. Let's try it. 40, 30, now let's bring it up. 40, 50, 60. Ain't that nice? So now let's see if we can control this by using our switches that we have on our board. So here we have 2 connected to pin number 1 and pin number 2. So if I press the red one, is going to be volume down. Let's give it a try. There we go. Let's do volume up. And how about that? So now we are controlling our Falcon player from these switches in our Falcon controller. Now let me go ahead and make some other changes, and I'll be right back with you so I can show you some other stuff. Okay, so let's try something else. First of all, let me show you my playlists. So here I have some tests that I've been doing: F16V4, FM Sign, and Navidad 2021. This Navidad 2021 has three different sequences. So we're going to pick this Navidad 2021 as an example. So let's go back into my status control, command preset, and let's change these commands. The first one to start a playlist. And guess what? We're going to pick Navidad 2021. And I'm going to accept the changes. And as the pin number 2, let's do a stop now. Okay, and accept changes. So let's save this. Let's restart the daemon. And Let me minimize this so we can give it a try. So if everything goes fine, now we should see the platelet start and stop. So I'm going to go into the status page, and we should see some movement in here when we press the buttons. Okay, so let's give this a try. So I have the red button, which is the pin number 1, and the green, which is pin number 2. So if I press the red button, we should see the platelet start. Let's give it a try. And there it is, it's playing. So it's playing the first song. And now if I press the green button, we should see it stop. Let's give it a try. And there it is, it stopped. So now we can pretty much control if we want to play a song, which one we want to play, and many other things. And we can keep adding more switches to our board. So now again, I'm going to pause the video, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we can use a relay to control any device that you can actually connect to this relay. Okay, so let me do some setup and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So now the fun part. We're going to control a relay using our Falcon controller, which will be triggering an event to the Falcon player to switch on and off a relay. Now I have here the pin layout for a Raspberry 3B Plus. This is the model that I have. So you will need to find the one that applies for your model, because this is an old model but works perfect. Okay, so if you notice, pin number 1 and 2 are positive for 3.3 volts and 5 volts. This is a 5-volt relay that I found in Amazon. There's a link in the description of this video. So the way this relay works is that we need to energize the positive and the negative with 5 volts, and then it has an extra pin, and with this gets a signal, it will turn the relay on and off. It will switch on and off. So we need to find a pin or a general port input output pin that is free, that we can send 3 volts or 0 volts to the input pin, and that will trigger the switch. Okay, so I found out that pin number 40 is free. So now we can either send 3.3 volts or 0 volts, and that should switch the relay on and off. Okay, now on the other side of the relay we have 3 pins. A normally open, then we have a common, and then normally close pins, which means that you're going to connect one to the common, and then you choose if you want to have it always open or normally closed. Obviously for this purpose we're going to select the normally open, so the circuit will be open, and when we trigger the relay it will close, and then these 2 pins will be connected, and then we can switch on and off any device. Now this device is rated for 10 amps at 125 volts, so more than 1,000 watts. So we can pretty much power relative big things. So it's up to you what you want to turn on and off. It could be a device, it could be maybe a small 12-volt motor that will make a Santa hand move from one side to another one, or it's up to you what you want to control. So this is the layout that we're going to be using. So we're going to have a cable coming from pin number 2 with a positive, another one coming from pin number 6 to the negative, and then one from pin number 40 to the in pin, which is the signal. So so that's how the layout that I'm going to have. So now let's go and make some changes in the Falcon player so we can trigger this event. So I'm going to minimize this, and now let's go back into our status control, and command presets. So if you remember, we have the volume decrease and volume increase. So now I'm going to change this to be something else. So instead of being volume down, this is going to be relay off. And we're going to do now a general purpose input output. We're going to select pin 40. And since this is relay off, we're not going to mark this, it's going to be off. And we accept changes. Going to do the same for the other one. This is going to be relay on. It's going to be a input output. It's going to be again pin 40, but now we're going to select on. So now the first switch will turn it off and the next switch will turn it on. So now we can save this and restart the daemon. Okay, it's been restarted. So I guess that now we can give it a try. So let me pause the video again and get the other camera up and running. I'll be right back. So here we have our Raspberry Pi, and we're using pin number 2 for positive and pin number 6 for negative. And those are powering our coils inside our relay. Then we have this white wire which is connected to pin number 40. So now if I press the green button, it should turn on, and with the red one we turn it off. On, off. And this is how easy it is to control a relay with your Falcon controller. Now it's up to you what you want to plug on the other side to turn it on or off. Okay, and before this video ends, I want to show you one more thing. And that is that these actions, we can actually put them in the scheduler. So we can turn them on and off at a specific time of the day. So let's watch this next video clip. Okay, so we're back into our Falcon player. So now let's go into the scheduler. In here I have only one entry. This was my last year playlist, which started at 5 p.m. and ended at 10 p.m. and it was playing Navidad 2021 playlist. So now let's add one more schedule. We'll click add. You can pick any date, any time that you want. I'm gonna pick 4 p.m. Let's say that's gonna start at 4 p.m. But it's not a playlist. We're gonna select a command. And in our list of commands, we have the same list that we had, and we have over here the general purpose input output ports. So we know that in port or in pin 40 we have our relay, so we can select it, and it's up to you if you want to turn it on or off. Let's say it's going to turn on and accept changes. So now it's going to start at 4 p.m. and we can stop it again, GPIO pin 40. We'll leave it blank, that means off. Accept changes, and let's say that we're gonna stop it at 7 p.m. okay, and we save. Okay, and that's it. So at 4 p.m. it's gonna turn it on, and at 7 p.m. it's gonna turn it off. And that's it. It's pretty simple, and well, like I said before, you can use that relay to switch something on. It could be, I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, maybe a snow machine or a small motor that's going to be moving something in your front yard. It's up to you. Okay, so this is how easy it is to do some automation on your show. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching this video. And again, if you have not done so, please subscribe to my channel. There are many more videos coming this year. Thank you.